Welcome to tFLOW 9.6. What I'd like to do today is go over several of the new features that we've been rolling out over the last few releases. As most of you know, we release a new version every 2 weeks. A lot of what we'll be seeing today won't be just the last release. It's been happening over the last 2 or 3 releases. It's the last couple of months or so. We've been focusing on enhanced user experience. So today is more of a summary of what we've been rolling out with each one of the releases, kind of the highlights. Of course, there are more things we've included in our last releases, but I wanted to give you an overview today of the most important highlights. So with that, we have here the new tile views. This has changed quite a bit. The capabilities you have when interacting with jobs in tFLOW, much faster interaction now through the medium and large tile views, which we'll be seeing here in a couple of moments. Also the new unified proof layout, which with one layout essentially we can address all screen sizes from mobile up through large screens. Works for everything. And full-size thumbnails. So previously, as most of you know, we would create a center cropped area of the artwork to display the thumbnail. Now you can choose to display the entire artwork if you prefer. Also, new revision workflow. There was some confusion in the past for cases where a customer had the ability to accept or reject but not upload artwork as opposed to those that could upload artwork, and there's a little bit of confusion there. We've redone that workflow and I think now much more simplified for all those different user cases. And a couple of nice new ERP and MIS integrations. So we've now integrated with SAP One and EFI Printsmith. Of course, we have several other MIS ERPs that we've already done in the past, and we keep adding these quite frequently. So check back with a list of our current integrations to see if yours is included. I'll also be going over the order review, although that's not quite new. That's been out now for, I believe, at least a month and a half, but I think some people haven't seen it. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that capability. So I'll be reviewing that towards the end of the presentation as well. So let's go ahead and start then with the new tile views. And to see that, let's go ahead and head over here to tFLOW. And I'm going to jump over here to orders, and I have an order prepared already. So I create an order here and I put 5 jobs in it. So let's go ahead and enter that. And so when you're in the view, whether inside of an order or in the jobs view, of course, you've always had the list as well as the normal tile view, which gives you a larger preview. But what we've added here now are the medium and large tile views. So when you're in this medium tile view, you see here the size of the tile is not only larger, but it's actually displaying the complete proof here in the view. What that means then is that you can actually see the proof without having to open up the job. So previously, if you were in, let's say, the tile view, yeah, you'd get a view, but you'd need to double click and open the job in order to take a look at it. But now with the new tile views, essentially you can get a look at that proof without having to open up the job. So you see here, you can see the entire proof. You can interact with the proof, so you can zoom into it here. And also, if it's multi-page, you can change pages here. So again, that's I can still open the job like before. I can double click it or open the job here, but I don't need to anymore in this new view. So if I want to get an even better view, I can go ahead and switch over here to the large tile, which will, as you see here, put the entire, let me scale it just a little bit. You'll see it's going to jump over. So now I get one tile. Oops, again. So I get one tile per row here. So I can get a full preview of the proof here from this window. And again, I can go ahead and zoom in here, move it around, change pages, revisions, and so forth. And what that means is it's now very quick to interact with an order. So I have an order here with 5 jobs. I can go ahead and approve this one, and I can reject this one, open up this one. So I can just scroll down here and go job by job without actually ever opening up the job at all. So it's very, very quick to interact with the jobs in this way. So again, here in the list of views you have, in addition to the normal list and tiles and Kanban, which we've had for many months or years now, you now have the medium tiles and large tiles view, which I think is a much nicer way to interact with the jobs here in tFLOW. Okay, so let's go ahead and head back over here to our presentation. So the next thing here is the unified proof layout. So previously we had two different proof layouts, one for if the image was wider than it is tall, or so essentially tFLOW would recognize automatically if the image was taller than wide or wider than tall and would change the proof layout automatically for you. Now we've created one proof layout which works for all. And the reason for that is because with different kinds of devices, the readability hasn't been the same. So if, for example, on the other proof layout, we'd have the list of fields here towards the bottom, they'd be very difficult to see on a mobile device. You'd actually have to scroll sideways to be able to view them all. So in the new proof layout, you see here, all of the fields are always in one row, so that when you're on, let's say, a smaller device, let's go ahead and see this here. So if you're on a smaller device, like a mobile phone, you can see here that you have everything in one view. When you scroll with your finger, you can read all of these. And of course, this is still on my normal screen, but on a mobile phone, you'd actually be able to read these as well. So our font size is also now created so you can read these on a mobile phone. And you just by scrolling up and down, you can get all the information about the proof. And then again, on this side, you can get the proof itself. So basically just two columns now. So job information or proof information, and then the artwork. So much easier to um, navigate on any screen size this way. So that's the new proof layout. And let's go ahead and head back over here. And we'll see now also the full-size thumbnails. So if I go ahead and close this job and go back to our thumbnail view here, you'll see that in the both in the list view as well as the tile view, I have it set here to show me the entire thumbnail. So again, previously it would go to the edge that's the closest. So in the case like this one, as we're looking at here, let's go ahead and open this. So the preview would be generated previously from a square, so it would crop here, and we'd see the center area. Now, as an option, you can define how you want to generate those thumbnails. So in this case, I have it set to show me the entire artwork. So you see here, it's fitting the entire artwork into the thumbnail, both in the list as well as the tile views. So again, it's a system setting you can set. So if you prefer the old way we did it with cropping the center area, that's fine. But you now have the option in your system settings to choose if you want the full thumbnail, and not just the full image, but also if you want that full image to be generated from or the original artwork or the pre-fired artwork or actually the finished artwork. So you can even generate the thumbnail if you like from the completely finished with color bars and cut marks and everything. So it's your choice now how you'd like to generate that thumbnail. Okay, so moving on here, we also have the new revision workflow. So there was some confusion in the past for some users because there are so many different options. So depending on who is viewing, what choices are being made, what permissions you have, this could create different situations for different types of users. So now what we've done is when somebody requests a new revision, essentially we've decreased the options so you can approve or reject. And let's go ahead and take a look at that actually. So we'll go ahead and go over here back to large tiles. So let's say if I go to approve and reject, so essentially it's my two options. Open job is just opening the job. It's not a state change option. So let's say if I approve, that one's clear, I can approve. But if I reject, that's where my additional options are. So based on my user permissions, I can only reject and then add comments. Or if my user permissions permit, I can reject and also upload new artwork. So it does it all in one step now. In addition to that, if I'm a external user, so let's say I'm a customer as opposed to a site owning user, my view is a little bit different. So when in this case, if I reject the job like I did previously, you see here it's asking me for new artwork, which I can go ahead and just drag and drop right into here. But if I'm an external user, which I'll go ahead and do here, let me open that up in a new window so you can see what that looks like. So as a customer user, if I go to access this, this is the site I see. So essentially that's the difference here. So not only is it simpler in terms of the commands where based on your user permission, you accept or reject, or you accept, and if you reject, you can either just reject or upload. But now also the difference here being that if I'm a site owner, of course, and I have the permission, I can drag and drop artwork, whereas the customer here that doesn't have the permission to upload artwork is going to see this window, which much more clear for them to know that, hey, I need to come back later and to check out my new proof once I've either gotten an email notification or however the notification system is set up for that particular user. But in this case, they're not sitting here looking at an upload screen. They're looking at another screen informing them that a new proof will be generated. So that's the difference here. And let's go ahead and head back then over to also the new integrations. So as most people are aware, our list grows quite quickly. We've just added two very interesting ones. So now we've also integrated with SAP Business One as well as EFI Printsmith. So in addition to those new features in 9.6, or let's say have been rolling out over the last few releases and have come to fruition here in 9.6. We also had a previous release, which has been out, I think, for a couple months now, which is the order review. I think not all people are aware of what this capability is. So I'd like to go ahead and explain that now. So the order review is essentially, it's a way for you to send one email for approval regardless of the number of jobs that the order has. So as most of you are aware, you have here in your user profile the email alerts where you can have all these different types of email alerts set up for different jobs as they reach different states. So when a job hits, waiting approval, it can send an alert to you and so forth. That's great for job level alerts. It's instantaneous. You know exactly what's going on, but it can also be overwhelming. And so why? Because an order could contain 5 or 20 jobs. You don't want to get 5 or 20 emails, one for each of those jobs in the order. So in that case, you can use the order review approval, which means that regardless if you have 5 or 20 jobs in the order, you're only going to get one email for that approval review because it's an order level review or approval. So let's go ahead and see how that works. So what we have here in tFLOW is when you set up an order here. So if I go ahead and add an order, there's an option here which is planned number of jobs. So what that means is if I put a number in here like 6, then tFLOW knows that it will send out, or that it should send out, that order review once there are 6 jobs that have been fully processed in the order. So that means if I upload 4, that's great, but the alert will not be sent out until I reach the number 6, and then those 6 need to be processed and either are on hold or awaiting approval, whatever state they're in. And once that number 6 has been reached, then the order review goes out to whoever's assigned to receive that. That also works for a 2-step approval. So whether you're in a 1-step approval or 2-step approval, this still applies. The customer doesn't get the approval email until all 6 jobs have been either processed in the case of 1-step approval, or all 6 have been internally approved in the case of a 2-step approval workflow. So that's if we want to send the automatic order review alert. And we can actually see also what that looks like. So if I go over here to the order review, which I had earlier, let me find it here. So this is the email that goes out. And by the way, this is also configurable. So this is by default. So it's telling me, hey, this is the name of the user. I put a sample username in here. Of course, this would be somebody's real name. This is the message, but this can also be customized. So if you go over here to your system settings and click on the SMTP tab and then go down here to the bottom, you see order review alerts. You can configure how you want that to appear. So if we go back over to that email, we'll see here we have a subject. And the subject here is using a variable, which we have a whole list of variables that you can use in tFLOW, of course. In this case, we've inserted the order number, and then whatever text you want to have up here. And then the email body, which again is using the variable for the order number, and just the simple text is ready to review. But all of this, you can add additional text in here if you like. You can format this text with different sizes, colors, things like that. So it's up to you how you'd like to configure this message that will be going out to the customer. So in addition to the automated order review, we've also given you the capability to send it manually from the order at any point in time. So there can be several cases of that. So sometimes you may not know what the planned number of jobs is. So in that case, when you add the order, if you leave this blank, so if you leave the planned number of jobs blank, as this tells you, no alert will be sent. That's because if you don't put a number in, tFLOW never knows when the order is complete, so it won't send anything. So in that case, either if you want to keep more manual control over the order, or you just don't know how many jobs will be in it, and you leave it blank, then in that case, you can go ahead in here and just send the order review whenever you're ready. Other cases would be, maybe you have 5 in there, but you know that the 5th one will take a long time. You just want to get the other 4 processing, so you want to send the message out to the customer earlier. You can come in here and just again add whatever users you want to put on here, and you can select them, type in whatever message you want to put in, and send that order review alert whenever you're ready. So you can do it any number of times. It doesn't affect the automated order review. It just gives you the capability to send that at any point in time. And that message that I typed in gets added to the rest of the alert. So if we look at the one here, the new one I just sent out, it follows that same format that I created from before, but in this case, it's added down here the text message that I've typed in, this case in the manual order review. Okay, so that's it. Just keep in mind, if you'd like to know what the full list of new tFLOW features contains, you can always go to support.aleyant.com, click on tFLOW, and if you scroll down a little bit here, you will see the tFLOW history. So go to 2018, and this is where you'll get the full list of all of the different features and improvements and bug fixes that we've been doing over the last months. Thank you very much, and looking forward to your feedback. Have a good one.